You're watching Joy in Our Town, and I'm your host, Letitia Nesby. Today, the issue in focus is education and youth and the importance of faith-based schools. It is so exciting and a joy to see at-risk youth successfully complete school, but it's an even greater joy when those same young people find the Lord. Here today to discuss with us is Tom Tillabaugh. He is the founder and executive director of Denver Street School. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tom, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and Denver Street School.
Well, Denver Street School is a Christian high school that I founded in 1985, 31 years ago, for kids that have been kicked out and dropped out of public school for all the reasons that you heard about. I actually visited here in 1979 and fell in love with a ministry that was working with troubled kids but didn't have education as part of the solution. And as an educator, I said that needs to be part of it. So God gave me a vision to come back someday and start a school specifically for these kids. I did that in 1984, started the school in 85 in a house on East Colfax with some kids I just drug off the streets that they're not in school at all anywhere. And kids that had been on drugs and alcohol and just whatever in their lives, and just started high school in May of 1985. And it's grew and evolved over the years. We had many wonderful kids that have graduated, but all coming from really messed up backgrounds. They've been making poor choices, but many times kids make poor choices because of what they've observed in their own homes.
What they've seen modeled in front of them.
Modeled in front of them. A huge part of the street school model is simply that, modeling good behavior. Taking the place, if the home is not providing that, we provide that with our staff. And we've seen incredible results over the years.
So what is the mission, Tom, of Denver Street School? So you get these young people that are troubled, are academically challenged.
Yep.
So what is your goal?
Our goal for our students is they become self-sufficient, contributing members of society who love Jesus. So you teach them, you get through high school, a lot to that, of course, learning how to learn.
Okay.
80% of the battle with any kid is getting them to care to want to learn.
Getting them to care to want to learn.
Care to want to learn.
Okay.
Why should I learn? And it's
why to go to school?
Why go to school? Maybe they've had bad experiences. Nobody has set an example for them by graduating prior. You very rarely will one of my kids come from a home where there's college graduates or even high school graduates, and so they haven't observed that pressure of, yeah, you need to go to school. I did. You do too. And you add to that. The fatherlessness is the root of everything. I mean, very rarely is there. I remember years where we had one kid who had both a father and mother in their home, and so it's
becoming odd to have two parents in a home.
That's sad, isn't it?
It's becoming what is it, the minority?
Well, it is sad. Starting with minority people, their fatherlessness is huge there, but even now. In the
Caucasian families,
30% fatherlessness, 75 in the African American, 51 last I heard
in
Hispanic,
the Latino,
and 30 in the white family, and that's so much more. Well, we know studies all show how that causes kids without that role model, and there are exceptions, of course, of how to be and how to behave,
right,
and how to be motivated. If that's not there from the home, especially from a father, that kid chooses the wrong path because he's now emulating other males in his life
that are not necessarily positive.
Oh, they're negative. Gang leaders and pimps and so on. They go down that road instead.
So where are these students coming from?
Our kids come to us from probation,
Denver
probation, Jeffco, whatever county. School, they might get kicked out of the public school, and that school counselor says, try Denver Street School. It's smaller and more personal. Social services, other ministries that are working with you.
So is it a referral type of?
Lot of referral, but then ultimately, of course, being around 31 years, we got a lot of word of mouth. And, here we have girls that graduated, women now, say 25 years ago.
Wow.
And they have babies. Well, we're 32 years old, so yeah,
right.
25.
Right.
Maybe I feel old, but so they have kids. They started raising a family. Now their kids showing a little sign of trouble. Where are they going to put them? Their alma mater that saved them. So I have kids of kids now.
Praise God for that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how many children are dropping out of Colorado schools each year, Tom?
Well, it's a hard, it's a percentage. The last stats I saw was in the minority communities in New York City, it's over half. It's half.
So that was going to be my next question. When it comes to blacks, Latinos, whites, what are we seeing?
The highest dropout rates, when I did this show years ago, it was like 48% of graduated. So 52% of, let's say, African American, Hispanic males.
So out of 100% of the African Americans, 52% are graduating.
Let's say
or
half
dropping out.
Let's just say half and half. Girls are slightly higher, of course. I'm not sure. I think it's around the same. I can't imagine it's proved too much. Maybe a little better now, but in the suburban communities, of course, much fewer drop out. I mean, there you go. It's because of in the suburban communities are role models, and of course, if you have a kid in the suburbs whose dad is not around, at least their friends' dads are around, so they can
have
see,
some type of role
But
model.
in the inner city, their dad is not around. None of their friends have a dad around either. Who is there to emulate? And when I say, well, does the dad make that much of a difference? Yes, it does. It's incredible that it's so important that you have a decent male around.
Well, like you said, that fatherlessness is very key
Yeah.
to the success of these students. So how much does it cost Colorado when a student drops out of school?
I used to have that stat. It's like cumulative is like, I don't have the exact number how much it costs per kid, but it's millions and millions because you have, let's think about it. They aren't getting a job. They're not paying taxes. They're not adding to the workforce.
They're actually beginning to drain.
They're drained. They're on welfare more. They're in the criminal justice system much higher, so they're draining. You got to pay for them in
Communities.
jail. Yeah, or they're on welfare. And so when they finish school, it puts them in a position to be able to get a job, higher job.
And begin to contribute.
Pay more taxes rather than taking taxes. Yeah.
Well, Tom, the road to success for these students might not be easy, but can definitely be achieved through Denver Street School and the love of God that you show. How is Denver Street School? Let's go ahead and transition to the solution. So we know we have this big problem. How is Denver Street School meeting the needs of the students that are at risk?
Well, first of all, we're a small school, so you're establishing several things. One is education, but putting them in a condition in life where they care to be educated is huge.
And then we mentioned that ratio, right? So they're not 500 kids to...
Yeah, we're very small. Yeah, no more than 10 to 1 at the very most. And so you don't have a teacher vying for the attention of, 80 kids. She's got 10 at the most. So what we do is we create a small school with small teacher-student ratio and a very strong interconnecting network of relationships with loving, caring adults.
Within that school.
Within the school that care for them, starting with their own teacher.
Okay.
So the teacher's working on this kid, not just academically, but in every way.
So that teacher's kind of like an accountability partner, would you say?
And more, and much more, and much more, yeah. And so let me give it a great example. We had a boy named Jack that came to us, so let's say 4 years ago now, he was on probation. He was a 10-year-old heroin addict in Lakewood.
One more time, a 10-year-old.
10-year-old heroin
I
addict.
have a 10-year-old,
in
so
Lakewood.
a 10-year-old heroin addict.
Yeah, and he eventually went to high school, and he was a big drug dealer, and he got caught, because they get caught. And probation, it's basically Denver Street School or jail, juvie jail, of course, juvenile delinquent.
Right.
And so he obviously picked us. So he comes in now, this is a great kid, but he's on drugs. Well, not right then because he's taken UAs. Now he'll get back in jail. So he's
trying to get it together.
Get it together. Well, we're helping him get it together. So first thing you have to do is you're helping them become future focused. Think about their future. Obviously, Jesus Christ is center to what we do. So my wonderful staff, my teachers, originally 30 years ago was me, but I'm old now. So they're pouring into this kid, found out he's really smart. He's not just some dummy or anything. He's actually
He's a brilliant kid.
Brilliant kid.
Well, I believe, Tom, anytime a young person can be technically a business entrepreneur to deal drugs, you got the smarts.
Well, he's got the smarts, but he didn't. He's using his forces for evil, if you will. So we're talking about the Lord all the time to kind of get him to care about his future, think past the now, into the future. That's called future focus. So it took 1 year, 2 years. finally he's getting his act together. Now at Denver Street School, our West Campus, we offer engineering if they need it.
Wow.
Anything from 1 and 1 is 2 to the highest math, wherever they are. And so with him, we started these engineering programs. He's that smart.
Wow.
And all the time talking about Jesus. It permeates everything we do. His advocate, because our kids are all divided amongst the staff with advocates. Each teacher is a personal advocate, anywhere to 4 to 6 kids that they meet every day,
Right.
out not in a regular class.
Right.
And they work on their lives. And eventually he started changing and evolving. And in his last year, it all came together. Now he's taken top classes.
Wow.
He is very smart. And he accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. And he got baptized on the morning of his graduation from Denver Street
Wow.
School. And so in the morning he's baptized, the afternoon he graduates, then we get him a full ride scholarship to college. And now he's getting straight A's in college.
Wow.
that's
What
one
a
of our
success. Just one.
That's one. And I could go through 10 more off the top of my head.
So, Tom, would you say that most of the young people who commit to coming to Denver Street School, they anchor in, they partner with the mission of your school?
Yeah.
Will those students leave knowing who Jesus Christ is?
We obviously have Bible and chapel and all the pressure, not pressure, but positive forces to do that. I can't say every single one, but they sure know more than they did before. And I've heard of many that even though whether they're with us, they didn't really buy into it that much.
But
when
you
they
planted the
left,
seed.
Planted a seed, and when they left, they're going to church now. They love the Lord. I've known many like that, that they grew afterwards. Some there at the school and some later.
Right, God's word says some people plant, some people water,
Yeah.
some people sow.
Yeah.
And you do all of it there at
All of
Denver
it,
Street
yeah.
School. So as we're getting down to the last few minutes of our program, how important is faith-based schools, Tom?
I think it's very, very important. It's in this day and age. What I didn't mention before is that I started a second ministry called Street School Network. People began to call me from all over the country. Can you help me start a school like yours in my city? Faith-based Christian schools for troubled inner city kids.
Wow.
All over the nation. We have about 30 right now. So I teach people how to do that. The problem, of course, is resources. The cost. These kids can't pay for your school or can't pay big tuitions.
So the schools basically have to use
We
the
ha-
state funds and apply for state funds.
It's ministry, a Christian ministry.
So you're raising those
you
funds.
can't state.
They're not going to sponsor that.
Oh heavens, no. Oh no,
Right,
no, no,
right,
no.
right.
That's antithetical to what they believe. No, we're like any
Your ministry, you're raising the money.
We have raised it all.
To get these kids to
We have
success.
many wonderful donors out there that give us the funds, and we need more, obviously. So they support us. Foundations, individuals support us because the kids can't.
Yeah.
They're poor inner city or troubled kids.
Well, Tom, with about a minute left in our segment, where can viewers find more information about your organization and what you're doing for students that need that second chance, and how can they help?
Well, Denver Street School, the website is denverstreetschool.org.
Okay.
O-R-G. My email address is tom.tillapa@denverstreetschool.org.
Okay.
And my phone number is 720-299-3420.
You are doing an amazing thing, and I think your contribution, your staff's contribution, and what you're doing, you will not see probably the full fruit of it until years to come. Thank you so much for being here. I love this school. It's an amazing gym in any community that it is.
Come and see us.
We will come and see you. I would love to come check you guys out.
You bet.
Thank you, Tom, for informing our viewers about the issues surrounding Denver Street School. And thank you for joining us. Remember, wherever you are, wherever you live, you can bring a little joy to your town. We want you to have a great day.
Ready or not, here I come.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
You're watching Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Letitia Nesby. On today's segment, the issue in focus is unemployment, homeless, and the economy. It's pretty difficult to find a job when you have a record or if you're homeless. Today we have with us Robert Andrews. He's the Executive Director of Denver Works. He's here to talk to us about how we can help those facing those issues. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
Sure. Well, my name is Robert Andrews. I am a native to Colorado, born and raised in Colorado Springs. Moved up here because I love Denver. Denver Works is a great organization. What we do is we empower those that are unemployed to go back to work and be self-supporting through job preparation and placement.
Well, Robert, there are quite a few people unemployed in Denver. Can you tell us about some of the barriers that cause unemployment?
Sure. So a few of the barriers that cause unemployment are if you have a background, meaning you've been involved with the justice system or other things involved around that. Another thing could be child support. Those are reasons that you could be unemployed. And then the third is your industry left town. What we're seeing right now is a lot of the oil and gas folks have left town and leaving folks, namely engineers, unemployed.
Wow. Well, what are the candidates that come to Denver Works? What age are we talking about here?
So we work with everyone 17 and up. 17 until you're able to retire or ready to retire.
Okay.
We'll work with all those folks. Anything under that, we feel you have some significant barriers that we can't handle, and we'll refer you to an agency that can.
So, Robert, we have your potential candidates that come to Denver Works.
Right.
They may have something in their past, but not necessarily, right?
Correct. We'll see anyone that needs a job walk through our doors. What we find is folks aren't really sure about how to fill out a resume. That's not a skill they teach you in school. Another skill they don't teach you is how to fill out an application.
That's true.
Or how to interview. And we're the place for that. Whether you've got a degree or you don't have a diploma, we're the place to go to learn those skills.
So your candidates are going to come to Denver Works, and are there classes that they do, or do they classes they have to sign up for, or do they have to pay for them? How does that all work?
So all of our services are free to participants. We wouldn't put an extra burden on someone who doesn't have a job. The second thing is you attend a career preparation workshop. You sit around a table with your peers for 4 hours, and we talk about individually how we can get you back to work. You'll go through an elevator speech. You'll go through a part where we learn about what skills you have are transferable from one industry to another. And then we'll sign you up to go out to our clothing closet, where we will supply you with clothes through your first period of getting a job until you get a paycheck. After that, we'll have you come back and we'll do a resume one-on-one with you.
So the clothing closet, you're in essence retrofitting that candidate to be who they're going to become in their job.
Absolutely.
So if they're in the office setting, you want them to look the office look. If they're in the warehouse setting, you want them to have those to be able to work. Is that true?
That is correct. So a big part of job placement is clothing. So our Men at Work closet and our Women at Work closet will supply you with things that you need to stay in your job until you can get a paycheck and afford the appropriate attire that you would need to stay at your job.
So what about transportation? So
Sure.
They're coming to Denver Works, they're getting trained, they're looking the part. Now how do they get to work?
Right. Not only is that the largest barrier that we hear from employers, it's the largest barrier that we hear from participants is the inadequate transportation. And that's a really big issue. It's a reason why folks lose their job. It's a reason why they lose benefits.
Because if you can't get there, you can't work.
Absolutely. So we have programs in place that are designed to help you get transportation throughout that first paycheck also. We have some folks in the community that give us donations so that they make sure that folks have supportive services, including transportation.
So when you say donations, what do you mean?
We have
Like financial donations or cars or bus tokens or RTD passes? How does that work?
So we have folks that give us monetary donations, and we use them for participants that walk through our door for transportation.
That's awesome. So, Robert, we're talking about the problems that someone
Sure.
has. So we have maybe someone with a colorful past,
Right.
we'll say, and then someone that's maybe homeless. Are there two different criteria of getting these two populations to work? Different challenges?
You know, I think with everyone that walks through the door, there's different challenges. So while someone may be homeless, we wouldn't consider that necessarily their barrier to going back to work. They may have other barriers that may prevent them. if you have a colorful past and you come in, we wouldn't consider that colorful past to be the barrier to employment. We're going to treat you as we treat the rest of the folks that walk through the door. Now, are you going to be able to get that dream job today? Now, that may not be likely. However, we can put you on the path to get a career and move on with your life and give back to society.
So we were talking about the problems. Now, let's kind of transfer
Yeah.
to the solutions.
Sure.
So although many Coloradans in Colorado may find it difficult to land a job, there's hope.
Yeah.
Tell us how God
Yeah.
is using Denver Works to help people in need of a job.
You know, if we for 21 years, we've done one thing, and that's lead. And Luke 12:48 says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And we will continue to use that as our moniker until we cannot any longer. We will lead in job preparation. We will lead in job retention and job placement. Those are the three things God has called us to do time and time again.
Say that one more time.
Job preparation, job placement, and job retention.
Okay.
God has called us to lead in that direction. And we're all firm believers that to whom much is given, much is expected.
So what is the overall mission of Denver Works?
Our overall mission is to support those with barriers to go back to work, to be self-supporting through job placement and job preparation.
So how do you show the love of God to that, say that discouraged individual
Yeah.
who's come through, he or she has been rejected,
Yeah.
their resumes are not getting answered,
Absolutely.
their phone calls are not getting returned, so they're walking through the door. How do you show them the love of God?
You know, we have, I always say this, and the folks that I work with are probably going to talk to me about this, but what Denver Works is comprised of are folks that have a heart for individuals in the community and for God. So when you walk through the door, you're going to receive a dose of love. And we call that our secret sauce.
You call it the what?
That's our secret sauce.
The secret sauce?
Is when you walk
Okay.
in, you're going to feel the love, and we are going to impact you. Recently, let me tell a quick story. We had a gentleman who had a friend who came to Denver Works 7 years ago, and he was down and he was distraught. Well, 7 years ago, we helped him get back to work. About 6 months ago, he told his friend about Denver Works. He's an immigrant from Ghana. He came in, received some services, and has continually come back to volunteer for Denver Works because of the love that we've shown him. That's what Denver Works is about.
So as you're helping these potential future job holders
Yeah.
come through the door,
Yeah.
not only are you preparing them practically, right? So I'm giving you the skill set you need to function in the marketplace.
Right.
I'm going to give you the clothing you need
Right.
to function in the marketplace. And then I'm going to give you that very special, the love of God, to make that foundation to keep you sustained in that. Is that true,
Absolutely.
you think?
Absolutely. We feel blessed to be in a position where we can do that and present some tangible goods such as clothing, transportation, and a resume. But the intangible goods are what help people get back to work. That's the building of their self-worth, their self-esteem, and their commitment to the community. That's what helps folks stay in their job.
So when it comes to the different job placements that you have, how long are the candidates that come to your office, what kind of jobs are they getting, and how long are they staying on these jobs? Years, months, weeks?
Right. So we run various tests about those type of things through funding through foundations and grants. And our promise is to help folks stay on their job for a year. That's our promise. So we'll
That's
follow
your
you.
promise?
That's our promise. Is we'll follow you for a year and help ensure that you will stay on the job. At times do we fall short, obviously. Not 100% are correct, but that's our promise, and we look to fulfill that promise with everyone that walks through the door.
Well, tell us about a couple of success stories.
Sure.
Denver Works has been in business how long?
21 years.
21 years. So I'm sure there are many success stories. What is one success story, maybe of a man or a woman, that sticks out in your head and your heart?
Sure. I'll tell you one that brought me to Denver Works.
That brought you to Denver
It brought me
Works.
to Denver Works. I recently moved from another position where I helped oversee a grant that Denver Works had. And they had a man who had been out of work for several years, and he's an IT professional. This gentleman came to Denver Works, got a resume, got some clothes, and became an IT professional at a job and went from $0 to $130,000 a year. Those are the stories that stick out for me. he has continued to support Denver Works in every way that he can. And those are the stories that impact our community and make our community stronger.
And those are the stories that make you smile on the inside.
Right.
Because only God can do something like that. From 0 to 130,000.
Yes.
Right. Now, give us the story of a woman, possibly.
A woman that we've had several women come in, obviously, to our establishment. One woman that sticks out. She came in. She was lost. She didn't believe in herself. She sat down with one of our case managers. She had been out of work for several years and had always promised herself that she was going to get back into the job market. But at times when our self-worth is low, our self-esteem is low, we put those things off because we don't believe we can do it. She sat with one of our case managers for 2 hours. 2 hours later, the case manager got a call back saying that she got a job and that she needed to come back to get clothes because she's going to start tomorrow
What?
at a hotel.
Now, you know that's just the favor of God.
That is
Denver
God.
Works.
Yes.
So, does Denver Works, is that organization, is it sampled out of another organization throughout the country? Or is there an original founder that kind of just had a heart for people?
You know, Denver Works started 21 years ago working with Save Our Youth. Debbie Johnson is our founder. Save Our Youth quickly recognized that this was a larger need and that it could stand alone by itself. So they decided to help Debbie as much as they possibly could get Denver Works off the ground, and it's been running ever since. July 29th, 2015, the mayor gave us a proclamation for Denver Works Day.
Wow. So let's say someone's at home right now, they don't have a job, and they want to get in contact with Denver Works.
Sure.
Look right into that camera past my shoulder, talk to that person, tell them about God and who loves them and he believes in them and their self-esteem and why you believe the best days for them is still ahead.
Sure. Yeah. What I would say to you, if you are alone or if you're in your home and you've been looking for work and it hasn't been fruitful for you, is that Denver Works is the place for you. If you are looking to get back into work or are you looking for someone to help you out with going back to work, you can always come to Denver Works. You can go to our website, denverworks.org, denverworks.org. There you can find information on how to contact us directly and get into one of our career workshops.
Nice job, Mr. Andrews. Nice information. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for watching where you are at home. I'm Letitia Nesby. You're watching Joy in Our Town. Remember, wherever you are, wherever you live, you can always bring a little joy to your town. Have a great day.